Today on Hytale, gliders, world generation, a hilarious new article, and more. Welcome to the daily Hytale update. There are 43 days left before Hytale releases. I am your host, Muffled Muffin. Let's hop straight into the news. Starting off with the new Quebecs that we saw in the spring blog post this year. Simon said that they will eventually be making their way into Hytale, however, they will not be present on release because they still require animation work, which follows their philosophy of only completing the bare minimum number of features before release and adding more as time goes by. This question was extended to the revamped Scarrick faction, which had a much more controversial reception from the community, and Simon said they will eventually be used, but they won't be replacing the old Scarricks, which is nice to hear because I personally prefer the old ones. And there can be cool lore reasons as to why half the faction is so much further advanced than the other half. Gliders were showcased on the Hytale Twitter account today with this cool gameplay clip. It is like a glider that you would find in Fortnite or Breath of the Wild, which is a huge relief, because I thought that it may be more like an elytra, which would make all other forms of transportation redundant. Speaking of transportation, we can see here that the Hytale landscape has quite a large scale. While this is very scenic, it would be a pain to walk all the way through, especially with stamina limited sprinting, so I really hope that Hytale features a good horseback riding mechanic that allows you to cross these vast distances reasonably quickly. We also get an amazing view of the landscape, with a very respectable render distance, and we can see a handful of the prefabs players will be able to see and explore once the game comes out. Initially, we can see 6 prefabs in the distance, all of very impressive scale, before the camera pans to the right, and we see these cool spire structures, plus these curious looking monsters, which include something that looks like a scorpion, and 2 human looking creatures, one of which is holding double daggers. There's also a vulture flying through the sky, and below it are 2 rams, which we can hopefully tame and ride into battle against the monsters. As we pan back to the left, we get a good look at a number of much smaller prefabs, which will be ignored by most players, and the recent completionists like myself take forever to reach our destinations. Plus a huge variety of biomes, including the Springs biome from the Riot trailer, the most plain looking hill I have ever seen, a bunch of Zone 1 plains and forests. As Propsy takes the leap of faith off the mountain, we see one last prefab, a cozy little home with a well out the back, or maybe the front, it's kind of hard to tell. Towards the end, we get to see this turtle camel thing, which still fits slightly in the Uncanny Valley for me, as I think I'm forgetting about a real life creature it's based off of, but no, it just looks weird. You know what else looks weird? People who aren't subscribed to my channel yet. Hit that subscribe button, let's get to 1,000. Simon, as always, immediately posted a disclaimer saying that the glider still had no momentum, animations, or sound. He also confirmed that the glider would not become a fast-flying device, phew, but that it is to prepare for the new crazy Worldgen, hopefully implying a lot of vertical generation and maybe even floating islands, but of course, it's not confirmed. When asked about the lighting engine, and if it would be improved to the same level as the crossplay engine that we've seen before, Simon said that it wouldn't be ready for release, but they had plans for how to fix it, which Psyche has spoken about before and made it seem like a fairly straightforward fix. Simon clarified that it would be fixed as soon as possible after some of the critical issues on the rendering side were fixed, which again, Psyche has said that there are currently effectively 2 lighting systems working on top of each other, one for static lights like blocks, and a second for dynamic lights such as held items. Sorry, I cannot find the Psyche tweets I'm referring to, you're just gonna have to trust me on this one. Simon then hyped up the so-called Worldgen V2, which is an arm and a leg ahead of anything else on the market right now, to the point of redefining the whole block game genre. Bold claim from the owner of a game that supposedly won't be very good. He said that Worldgen V2 is already being used in the game outside of the world when you spawn, whatever that means. It has not been shown to the public yet. The main thing that he hypes up is that everyone will be able to edit the Worldgen with this new model, not just developers. A massive blog post is coming soon. But not too soon. It has no ETA and will drop sometime before the holidays, so basically between now and when Hytale releases. Apparently, they're spending time on it because it will define the future of Hytale, but like, come on man, just drop it already. Stop teasing us with vague Worldgen related information, just give us the whole thing. Naturally, this means it's going to drop while I'm writing a final, which has happened on 3 separate occasions already, and is really, really annoying because my school is very far from my house, which means I can't record videos. So please, Simon, drop it in early December, please. Next up, me, by which I mean Simon answered my question, which was if this Worldgen V2 was the same as a wizardry one that Slightly had said worked in tandem with the current Worldgen, to which Simon said no, but at the same time my question was poorly worded, so he may or may not have just understood it. Either way, it's cool that Simon answered my question, although now Twitter notifies me every time someone likes my reply or reposts Simon's tweet, which is pretty annoying. He also said that the new Worldgen will be slowly introduced before making a big entrance later, and we will learn about it very soon. Slikey then decided that he wanted a moment in the spotlight and announced that they would announce the minimum and recommended computer specs tomorrow at 1 PM EST. He also commented on the weirdness of them announcing announcements, saying that they did it so the creators could plan ahead to stream, make videos, etc., which is quite nice for us, but also I keep skipping school because I know there's going to be news, and that is not very good for my grades. Importantly, this announcement will not include any server-related statistics, which will be covered in the server owner manual. How do you get one of those? No one knows. Hey, that rhymed. Anyways, hot air balloons won't be in the game for release, but are partially implemented right now. The same goes for the grappling hook, so don't expect either of those until a few months after early access launches. Simon also confirmed that custom prefabs can be made, which isn't really a surprise, but it's cool to have officially confirmed. He also mentioned that two-handed swords are in the same state as many weapons, where the models are in the game but not configured yet, which is weird because we definitely saw a two-handed sword in this dungeon clip, so I don't know what could have happened to it and changed so that it's not configured anymore. Maybe it just has outdated VFX, I don't know. Finally, we have this Games Radar article titled Hytale's returning owner has hatched a genuinely ingenious marketing strategy, repeatedly telling everyone the game isn't good, but like, only for now, which is probably the funniest thing they could have possibly called it, and sums up like half of Simon's tweets since the game was saved, and even before that to a certain extent. The article itself is information you probably know if you watch this channel, but it's just a cool title, it's pretty funny. That is all of the Hytale news from today, and until next time, stay hypey.